Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and want to see more.
Coming up, round 16 and round 17 games from Super League in the UK.
So the first match that we're looking at is the Wigan Warriors visit to the Hallowell Jones Stadium. We're looking at these first as it was played on Wednesday the 28th of July, and Warrington went out as resounding winners. Well, not as resounding as you think, as it was 3 tries to 2. No kicks by Wigan, 4 goals for Ratchford, and a drop goal for Austin made the scores 21 points to 8. Leigh Marshall got his obligatory 2 tries against Warrington Wolves, as he seems to score every time that he plays against them, where Blake Austin, Flulis and Jake Mamo all went in for tries for Warrington Wolves. The Mamo try sparked a little bit of controversy, to be honest, as Adrian Lamb thought the whole situation was mismanaged and disrespectful. Speaking after the game, what Lamb said was Jake Mamo, who scored a hat-trick of tries in the last game at the 40 points to 14 win at the DW, was hero again, passing on a controversial opportunist 80-metre try to seal the victory for his first game for 3 weeks. Warrington were 14 points to 8 ahead when winger Leigh Marshall was knocked out chasing back to collect a loose ball. Warrington's Josh Charnley then accidentally kicked Marshall, which saw him suffer a concussion and drop the ball. Mamo picked up the ball and raced 80 metres to score. Lamb said referee Hicks was wrong not to refer Mamo's try to the video referee and believed he should have awarded a penalty instead for a foul play by Charnley. Lamb thought he thought it was disrespectful. We're meant to be looking at the welfare of our players. Whether it was an accident or not, I don't know, but it was a penalty and he should have stopped play and gone to the video referee. He could have still awarded the try going back through the footage. It was clear that he was knocked out though in the incident. Steve Price, on the other hand, for Warrington, said you've got to play to the whistle. It's totally accidental. Which is fair because we've seen it earlier in the season with Josh Griffin's Achilles injury for Huddersfield, where his former teammates scored on him. It's rugby at the end of the day, rugby league. We play to the whistle, and you've got to keep hold of the ball. Yes, there is mitigating circumstances with Leigh Marshall, and the video referee could have been consulted. And if that was it, if that was all consulted and then said, fine, it was an accident, try converted, I bet Adrian Lamb wouldn't have made those comments after the game. I think it's more he's a bit frustrated with his position at Wigan at the moment, as it keeps being questioned every single week. But his side unfortunately got another loss underneath their name with this 21 points to 8 win for Warrington Wolves. So now we're going to have a quick look into Wakefield's midweek trip to Catalan Dragons. They were the early game on Thursday the 29th of July in Perpignan, and it was Catalans that came out the winners at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong, Wakefield had some great firepower as Yusuf Aydin, the Turkey international, went in for a try for Wakefield and 2 tries for David Vita, who was a rock for Wakefield throughout the entire game. It was the story of 2 big men with Sam Cassiano, who is yet to commit to a new contract or have talks about a new contract with Catalans to prolong his stay in the south of France. Further tries for tries to scoring actually started with Sam Tompkins going over on the 5th minute. Then the Idins try on the 9th minute, as mentioned. But then it was Fafita that went over for the first of his 2 tries of the day on the 20th minute. Cassiano followed 10 minutes later, and then Gil Dudson went over on the 65th minute. That was the next try that went over. But in this meantime, there was 5 goals converted by James Maloney, who was back after his suspension. After the 50th minute, Dudson went over, and then Fafita responded with a penalty. Well, yeah, a penalty on the 45th minute from Mason Lino, as well as 3 conversions of the tries, completing the scoring for Wakefield. Fuid Yaha scored on the 72nd minute, and Tom Davis went over on the 79th minute for Catalan, which were both converted by Maloney to edge the scores out to 40 points to 20 for Catalan. So the last game of the round 16 fixtures is Hull FC versus Leeds Rhinos. With Blake Austin's name still lingering in the air to be joining Leeds at the end of the season, Leeds arrived at the KCOM Stadium after a decent win against Salford. Hull, on the other hand, were without a couple of key men, but more or less a strong enough squad. But they have come off a defeat against Huddersfield in their last game. 40 points to 26 results, I think I'm right in saying. 3 tries in 11 second half minutes saw Leeds come from behind to secure a battling 12 points to 22 win at Hull. Hull dominated field position, but only had an Adam Swift try and a Mark Sneed penalty to show as they claimed a 6-4 half-time advantage after Leeds initially went in front through 2 Reece Martin penalties in the opening period. But Leeds slowly worked their way into the contest as their solid defensive display was rewarded by 3 quick-fire tries by Brad Dwyer, Richie Myler and Cameron Smith to secure their first win at the MKM Stadium since April 2017. The MKM Stadium is another name for the KCOM Stadium. Anyway, Josh Reynolds and Richie Milo were sin-binned late on before Carlos Tumevave grabbed a late consolation as Hull fell to a successive league defeat. So it was the best try of the game, the Carlos Tumevave try, but it was very, very fractious. At one point, the Rhinos pack was gating the foothold and almost crashed, and Mikołaj Oledzki almost crashed over. Video referee said he was held up short before the visitors got their noses in front fully. Hull could not make the most of Sneed's huge 40-20. I mean huge. From 25 to 20, really. 25 to 15, I would say. So Hull got them, but it wasn't enough. There was a couple of flare-ups, a couple of argy-bargies. There's one instance when, again, this time it was a Leeds player aiming for a youngster after a penalty came about, and the player was going off and had a quick word with the referee. I think it was 10-6 at the time. The third try saw Reynolds and Myler go to the sin bin at the close stages as the tempers flare, because Leeds were celebrating in front of their own fans of their last try, I think it was, or was it Brad Dwyer's try. And it all got pushy and pulley and everything like that. And unfortunately for Richie Myler, who was acting as peacemaker, ran in from a distance, and that's what caught the ref's eye. He ran in for a distance to get involved in it. Well, he should have left it to the refs. I know it's your teammate, calming down your teammate, pull them apart, but running in from a distance is an instigation in the referee's eyes. So he got 10 minutes in the bin as well. And that made the scores, with Reece Martin perfect from 5 as he scored another penalty in the second half. Apologies, no he didn't. He scored 5 from 5. They converted the 3 tries in the second half for Leeds, as well as the 2 penalties in the first half, with Sneed kicking 2 and 2 tries for Hull. 22 points to 12 in the favour of Leeds Rhinos.
So the first game of the Sunday round, well, the next round of Rugby League on the Sunday, was Wigan versus Leigh Centurions. And it started off as a tempestuous affair. Before I go into the try scorers, the point scorers, all that I know is Brad Singleton and Ashcroft for Leigh Centurions will be seen banned for quite some time due to them instigating a fight in broad daylight. They won't be the only ones either, because Oliver Partington didn't miss with 3 hits when the teams started to separate into 2 separate fights. After Butler had Leigh Centurions had been punching over the top, shall we say, on Brad Singleton when the fracas was going on. After it all calmed down, there was a rugby match, and the point scorers were like this. A hat-trick for Amala Hamry gave Wigan the basis of a great win, with Liam Farrell scoring twice as well. Thomas Lulai got over for a try, as well as Halsall, Sharrocks and Hastings. Harry Smith converted 7 goals, where on the Leigh side, Liam Hood went over for a try and Ellis kicked over their conversion for a score of 50 points to 6 to the Wigan Warriors. So this has gone through its first half at this moment in time, and there is one big word that keeps popping up on the actual documents that I have in front of me for this game. Errors. It was littered through them. If Warrington completed more sets, they'd be really, really dangerous for anyone in the Super League. But they're just getting too many errors involved in the actual game, whether it's penalties. Don't forget, don't get me wrong, sorry. They have caused errors from Leeds, and Leeds have been just as bad with the ball, leaving the ball behind when they're going on the rampage. But Leeds lead at half time. A wonderful pass by Richie Myler opened up a gap. I mean, a last minute offload opened up a gap for Harry Newman to go in for his second try in the 4 games that he has since he came back. A crash over try from Oledzki made the scores 12-6 after Mike Cooper did a crash over try himself. And then Warrington came back. First of all, the kick-off, straight up in the air, aiming in the direction of where the sun was setting. Not kidding. The only time where you could get, just looking at the complete sets here, 13 now to 21 for Leeds and 15 to 22 Warrington. 48% completion rate for Leeds and 52% completion rate in a half for Warrington as well. Anyway, The kick-off, as I was mentioning, after the Aletsky try, went to the right, and Luke Gale was trying to trap the ball because he couldn't see where it was, and it went underneath him, and it bounced. And then the Leeds forward, I can't remember his name, went to try and grab it, and he carried it over the line, out of touch, so it was a dropout. Warrington worked their way back up, and Blake Austin scored after a bouncing George Williams pass. It bounced on the floor on the half volley. Blake Austin picked it up and scored left of the posts. Stefan Ratchford converted both tries, but for the half, Brad Dwyer had the last word as he scooted in from the left side to get closer towards the posts to make it 16 points to 12 to Leeds, with Reece Martin completing the round completing the scoring to make it 18 points to 12 with the conversion. He's 3 from 3 from the night so far. Let's see how the second half goes. Well, I never. What an end of the game that was, hey? Now to summarise the second half, I'm sorry about the lighting, as it's not the best in here, to be honest, and we're coming to the end of the day. I'll try my best to get more light on there somehow. Anyway, so we're gone into half-time at 18-12, and the first attempt of a try came to Warrington, as Josh Charnley was seen to have gone over in the corner, with the referees calling it as a try to the video referee. Now, on replays, it looks like Brad Dwyer did enough to get the ball off Josh Charnley and was bundled out a touch afterwards. But as the call went up and there was no other reason not to give the try, apart from what everyone else could see, they gave the try to Warrington. Stefan Ratchford converted from the touchline on the right hand side for the try to make the scores 18-all. A penalty came not long after for Warrington, which they decided to settle it down as the arm wrestle was beginning, and Ratchford, straight from in front, about 35 metres out, put it straight over to give Warrington the lead of 20 points to 18. But back comes Leeds. Leeds were on the attack, and Jack Hughes committed an offence strong enough so that he was placed in the bin for 10 minutes. This was in the 20 metres of the Warrington's defensive half. About 10 away from the posts. So 15-10, going back that way. Anyway, Reece Martin converted to make it 20-20. With the numbers game being in Leeds' favour, and some great breaks and some holes being made before and after the sin binning, it was Harry Newman back again with a great diagonal run from his left wing into the centre of the pitch to go in under this just right of the sticks, which Reece Martin duly converted to make the scores 26 points to 20. Still in the 10 minutes of sin binning for Jack Hughes. Warrington send on Danny Walker, the small, stocky, quick scrum acting halfback, and he exploded with the minute of the sin binning left to go. He finds himself at halfback, about 20 metres out from the Leeds line, and he scoots from acting halfback. There's retreating backs turned Leeds defenders at this point. It was a fast play, the ball. They couldn't get involved, otherwise it would have been a penalty. But when it came towards the line, he was being tackled by 3 players, Danny Walker, and he still got over under the sticks. That made it 26-all. Leeds were it was coming close to the end of the game, and Leeds were the first to attempt a one-pointer to close out the game. Brad Wire did the first attempt, but it hit the back of Leeds number 13s in Kakavalu. Anyway, I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name on that front. It hit him on the back of the head, accidental offside, and it gave Warrington possession around about 35 metres out from their own line. And all the way back up the field they went and got themselves within 40 metres of the Leeds sticks, and the ball came back to George Williams on his debut to knock over the one-pointer for Leeds to make the scores 27 points to 26. And that's it for another video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I will do something about this light, as it's not natural. I'm sorry about that. But in the meantime, stay safe, all the best, and I'll see you in the next video.